Hello, I'm Philip Stoten for EMSNow. I'm here at SMT Nuremberg and I'm joined by Marc Carter from IPC. Marc, thanks for stopping by.
Oh, it's our pleasure.
IPC have just recently released their latest roadmap.
Yes.
What's new, what's challenging in there that's going to shape us moving forward?
Well, the process itself was interesting. I'd worked on it as a civilian from the outside for some time, but this is the first year that I had been the shepherd, as it was, and it's we've taken a rather different tack this time. We've gone to a much more distributed process, much more collaborative process, just in recognition of reality. The old system of 12 people getting together in a room 6 times a year and writing the thing. Nobody's traveling. Nobody's got the budget for traveling. Nobody's got the availability to travel, even if they had the money. So we've gone to a much more distributed process with team leaders on each of the major segment areas. And they then run their own shop, as it were, for each of those.
And when you say segment areas, do you mean the vertical markets like automotive, medical, or do you mean segments like EMS, PCB?
We've chosen, and that's an ongoing argument.
You got to chop vertically or horizontally.
How to break it up? You have to break it up somehow, and the argument
is there's no wrong or right.
Yeah, exactly. So ours is broken up not specifically by market, although that is an ongoing discussion. We do by the kind of package that it might be. We do interconnect, we do connectors, we do new technology developments, those kinds of. That's the vertical segments that we've broken. As you say, there's no right and no wrong, and there's a good argument for both. But this has gone very well. We worked very hard to get back on schedule with the thing. We had been a little lax. We slipped a little bit, and the content had slipped a little bit. We needed to get much more input from a much broader selection of experts from around the world to get the best content. However we got it, hook or crook, and so that we had recruited heavily to get people to take the leadership in each of these sections, and it worked pretty well. Not that it's where we need it to be as yet.
Just yet, but it's getting there.
The other thing that has been very exciting and to me particularly, is that we're being much more cooperative with other organizations, similar organizations. We're having
on a global basis?
Yes. We've always had pretty good help from our friends in Japan, and pretty good help from some of our people, some of our friends in Europe. We have always had a relationship on a low level with, say, INEMI and ITRS.
In the US.
But we're moving towards a much more formal division of labor, if you will, on that. Next week in France, there will be a little mini summit, if you will, to discuss, a more formalized structure along those lines.
It makes sense, doesn't it? Otherwise, there's a lot of repetition between you guys.
Well, and there's a finite
and
number
there's a lot of data.
Yeah, and there's a lot of data, but there's a finite number of true experts in the data. And to have Chuck Richardson from INEMI and myself and the ITRS people all hitting up on the same
topics,
same person. Please give me a chapter for my roadmap. Well, no, the idea is
there's a chapter. We'll use it.
And so we're working towards a much more common base structure, the technology information, and then each of us has to, of course, massage it for our particular target audience.
Of course.
The IPC is down in the operational level. We're trying to remove the old feeling of they're a competitive organization. It's not true. I mean,
we work with a lot of the other publications, and we call it co-opetition.
Yeah, exactly so. And
it works.
We said, fine, you Mr. ITRS and you Mr. INEMI, we're going to take pretty much at face value what you tell us is coming. What needs to happen. We'll take the part on how do they get there? What roadblocks are there to accomplishing that? And we'll work that into the street. And that's coming on very well. There's we're starting a much expanded area in what we're calling stewardship.
Right. Okay.
And trying to help diffuse the negative connotation, because there are opportunities inherent in that too. It's a double-sided thing.
Yeah.
There are opportunities for companies in that.
And challenges,
And challenges. Similarly, it's nice to see printed electronics finally getting a little aware.
I was going to ask you about printed electronics. It seems to be that almost solution looking for a problem.
It has been a lot of reasons, but it had been severely overhyped early on for the last 10 or 12 years. And, historically, it was the first printed circuit. Was actually what we would now have called a printed electronics.
Yeah.
But it was. It's a little like the old optoelectronics and copper argument. Is copper dead? Well, not quite.
No. Well, we thought SMD was going to replace through-hole components. It hasn't. There'll always be through-hole assembly. It's nice to see that moving.
Nothing ever goes away. And we've kind of come to the realization that printed electronics will be a tool, one of the tools in your arsenal.
Yeah, one of many.
We looked at it, it was about 2.5 years ago now. Our membership, and we're a membership-driven organization, membership came to the board and said, we hear a lot about this printed electronics thing. We think there may be something there. You need to go off and explore it and find out for sure if there's something to be done. And we did. We did an assessment. There were a number of things that were keeping it from achieving its potential. And some of them we in IPC could do nothing about. That's just not something we got the horses to do. But one thing that we could see that was a problem was a potential customer trying to convey what they wanted to a potential supplier. No common language.
Right.
There were individual instances of success. Negotiated one-on-one. Hard to extrapolate that to an industry. So we said, well, one thing we can do and do all the time is consensus-based international standards. So fine, we'll take that part of it on.
Let's do that.
The other part that is still troublesome to us is in order to project, to make logical projections about what one should do going forward, you need a good base of trustworthy data. And there's been a lot of numbers thrown around, but we're not comfortable that...
I would agree with that. It's very hard to predict the future in an industry that has very little history. So that's probably going to be one of the next things. But in the cooperative vein, we're working very closely with our first 4 standards on substrates, on conductive materials, on design, and on acceptance are all going to be joint standards with JPCA, as is the processing guideline, which is the next group formed. We've already got the substrates and conductive materials standards out. They've been out for some time now. They're available. Okay.
The design guideline, we didn't quite have the courage to try and go with the design standard out the box.
Guidelines.
But we did that, and that's going out for final ballot this week, I believe.
Okay.
And so
it's all moving along quite nicely, isn't it? Just to wrap up, if people want to access the roadmap and want to get information on that, how do they contact you? Through the website or directly by emailing you, Mark?
The website will work. They can access it there. It might be easier if they're unfamiliar to just have them email me directly, and it's just Marc Carter at ipc.org.
Well, we'll make sure we put that on the video too. And,
Excellent.
And thanks very much for stopping by. Thanks for
very
having
much
a chat.
Our pleasure. Thank you.